All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. I hope that you've all had a great summer and that you're gearing up for Q4. Thank you for making time to join us today. We're very excited to have you with us to learn more about such an incredibly vital task for any successful affiliate program. And I'm talking about publisher recruitment. A couple of quick introductions before we get started. I'm Ryan LeBay, and I help manage the self-service accounts here at CJ. An initiative of mine is managing our webinar series for advertisers. I really hope you'll find today's webinar useful and that you'll take a moment at the end to share your thoughts on what you liked and other topics that you would like to see as webinars in the future. Brian Cardillo will be presenting today. Brian's been with CJ for nearly 6 years now and is very familiar with today's topic as he's a veteran of over 100 recruitment campaigns. Before I turn it over to Brian, let's speak for a moment about the webinar format. Brian will be presenting for about 30 minutes and then we'll have plenty of time for questions. Besides the presenters, all attendees will be muted. As you have them, you can send your questions to me in the GoToWebinar software, and I'll get them to Brian for Q&A at the end of the session. If we don't get to your question, or if it is account specific, we'll get back to you directly after the session. As I mentioned, there'll be a post-webinar survey that should be launched within the GoToWebinar interface. We'd be grateful for your feedback, and it shouldn't take you more than a few minutes to complete. Finally, we're recording the webinar, and we'll let you know how to access this in a follow-up email. So, Brian, if you're ready, over to you, buddy.
Thank you, Ryan. Recruitment is such a critical part of a strong affiliate strategy, and I think often the nuances are lost amid the constant need to drive growth. So whether you've joined us today as someone newer to recruitment or with years of experience, this webinar aims to explore recruitment backwards and forwards, and I'm confident you're going to learn a lot. Let's dig into our agenda. First, we'll break down recruitment to its roots. Then we'll walk through building and executing a recruitment campaign together. And finally, we'll go beyond the basics to explore all the ways recruitment can advance your overall marketing and company goals. Before we end, we'll cover some FAQs and end with a Q&A at the end to make sure you've got everything here down pat. Let's jump into some key concepts of what recruitment is and why it's so valuable. So starting with a quick refresher of the fundamentals. Recruitment means to add new publishers to your affiliate program, and it's accomplished in CJ in two ways. First is pushing offers to them, which they accept, or accepting applications that new publishers submit to you. When you push offers, it's done using a CJ program term. Program terms are digital contracts built and utilized within the CJ interface. They pull together the commissionable actions, commission rates, incentive structures, and policies that shape the relationship between you and the publisher. Publishers will take time to review your offered terms in concert with your program description and anything else that's going to define the relationship between you two. When a publisher accepts your offer, they become joined and can access your links, subscribe to your product feed, and earn commissions for driving sales and/or leads. For accepting new recruits, publishers submit applications to your default program terms. This is the term that you designate to be public-facing. Now it's your turn to evaluate the potential of the partnership. You can find these pending applications via links on the homepage as well as in the publisher section. Take some time to review their websites, promotional methods, and more to determine if they'll be a good fit for your program. When you accept the application, they become joined just as if they'd accepted an offer from you. You can also find new publishers using our recruitment tool found in the publishers section or by searching for publishers you already know are in CJ using the search page found there too. The opportunity here is huge with over 70,000 active publishers in the CJ network. Now that said, knowing where to begin and how to recruit effectively can be daunting, which is why we're going to cover a solid approach that will give you all the tools to succeed. So with the fundamentals covered here, let's explore the value of recruitment. Affiliate marketing's value is built on strong relationships with publishers of all shapes and sizes. Each new relationship offers so much to you. To begin with the obvious, unquestionably, every new relationship grows your brand's marketing footprint. There's a network effect here too, as every publisher is looking to grow as well. their readers, their membership base, and users. By using online and offline channels just like you to develop their own brand and content, more traffic for them means more eyes on you, wherever they're promoting you. Every new publisher is a whole new network of marketing distribution. Publishers pursue growth in so many different ways and places, and each new relationship mitigates the risk of relying on a smaller group of publishers and adds variety to your distribution scope and methods. Today's publishers offer a broad range of major business models, and they include but aren't limited to content and deal-focused portals, loyalty and rewards programs, mass market commerce content, search specialists, and advanced browser apps. As a side note, never forget that every publisher will use any model they can to drive traffic and engagement. It's practically an industry standard now. So never assume they're just a coupon site or just a blog. With ever-increasing competition to drive up readership, there's basically no such thing as those anymore. And third and finally, growing a diverse footprint for your products, services, and offers means making a big impact on how you compete more effectively. Your publishers often represent the voice of reason when shoppers are looking to choose between brands. Recruitment is an essential part of getting in front of the competition, and awareness of your competitor's publisher footprint is always an important tenet of a strong affiliate strategy. So we've talked a lot about that strong affiliate strategy. Let's build one together. Breaking down the fundamental terminology, concepts, and value of recruitment has put us all in the perfect common place to start from. So let's jump right into building a strong recruitment strategy for your program. We've got this down to a science in 3 easy steps: identify, push, engage. Now, before we dig in, here's the process at a high level. First, identify, where you will determine the criteria for the kinds of publishers you're looking to recruit, and then build the list itself of these publishers. Second, push, where you'll design your program term offers by segmenting your lists into specific groups and push them out. And finally, engage, following up once they've joined your program to get things rolling right away. Without further ado, identify part 1. You've got goals for your brand and program. Lay them out to target your best recruits using diagnostic questions. Good questions could be, what are your main KPIs? New customers, AOV, more revenue? This answer alone won't help you target publishers too specifically, but various business models and content focus will change which KPI a new publisher recruit could potentially drive most effectively. Next, what's a valuable new sale or lead look like to you? Do you have specific products or customer personas you've been targeting? Third, what publisher business models are you light on or perform already and you'd like to expand? As we've discussed earlier, just because 2 publishers are both content doesn't mean they're bringing the same value to the table. Every new publisher brings growth, diversity, and competitive advantage. And finally, what limitations or policies should you consider? Is every new site something you'd need to watch for brand compliance and accuracy? Are certain states off limits? This is time to get real. Don't skimp here and find yourself in trouble later. Be realistic about what you can or can't introduce to your program. And just getting back to the value here too, why are we doing this? Well, as the internet's a rather big place, narrowing your search is critically important. Furthermore, trying to recruit every publisher you want all at once is going to dilute your message. So get down to a specific list. Shoot for quality over quantity so you can be more personalized in your approach. And consider their perspective too. Would you want to be just part of a massive effort with no attention to your unique value? I know I wouldn't. Now, I know this is the last bullet on a text-heavy slide, but this is such a critical point. Putting yourself in the publisher's shoes is really the purpose of recruitment overall. Your goal when you recruit is to give another publisher the opportunity to promote your products and services, and both you and the publisher need that opportunity to be successful. The best and frankly only way to do that is to understand what it is they'll need from you to succeed. That point covered, let's move forward to build that list of publishers that you're going to provide that opportunity to. Now for part 2 of the Identify step. Using your recruitment criteria, we'll build your list of recruits using the Recruitment tool. This page has a lot of handy filters and options to narrow results. Let's break down some key features and things to know about it. First, the tool will only show publishers who are not joined to your program. That's the only publishers that will appear. Publishers are listed because they're performing in the areas you're specifying. So if you've selected the geographic source of Canada and the home and garden furniture category, you're seeing publishers who are performing with Canadian customers from furniture advertisers. You can push out a single program term offer on this page if you're just interested in one publisher very easily by clicking the Make Offer button found in the publisher's results listing. The search functionality is pretty advanced. Use this search bar to pull up publishers relevant to specific content topics, product types, and audiences based on publisher inputted keywords. And clicking on a publisher's name expands the details for a given publisher, where you can dig into what they're all about. Click the arrow buttons to navigate to the Lightbox's different tabs. Use this tool to create lists of specific publishers and then download them. Your complete list should cover all your criteria from part 1 of the Identify step. Again, though you may be tempted to include as many publishers as possible, stay realistic. We'll be following up to launch and optimize each relationship here, so quality over quantity. Your total list might be less than 100 publishers. It might be less than 50. Let's go to push. Section 2. You've got your list of dream recruits set. Let's break down that list into segments so you can create targeted program term offers. Let's start by heading to Account Program Terms. And just to be clear, since our focus today is recruitment campaigns, I'm actually going to skip an in-depth discussion about reviewing and approving applications. Please plan for future educational content on this topic, and if you need help now, our CJ Support Center has great material for you, and you can always reach out if you have questions or need advice. So getting back to pushing offers, let's create unique program terms for distinct groups within your full list. Take a minute to consider how different publishers find value in different things. For instance, if you can offer higher commission rates for content publishers, that is a great way to show that you view their partnership as premium. Though they will see this, though their program term offers are always private, because they can compare your default terms, which are public, and see how you've improved the offer. Think about how you can break down your full recruitment list into mini lists based on your criteria from the Identify step. By things like their main business model or product focused, you get the idea. An example could be gaming focused publishers if you're in the electronic space, or content publishers for a business model. How can unique commission rates, policies, product commission rates, and incentive structures add value for each group? Now, there's no need to go crazy with tons of different program terms. You can group some together, but this shows you're considering what's valuable to their side of the partnership. When you're all set, use this page to create each term. You can do this quickly by cloning your default. Name them to make sense both now and down the road. So not term 1 or term 2. This won't mean anything later. Instead, say things like content term or gaming term. Publishers will see the name of their program term, so keep that in mind. With your term set, now make publisher groups that match each term. Head to the Groups page and click Create Publisher Group to begin. Just like with program terms, use names that will mean something down the line. You might want to name them the same thing as the program term. Unlike terms, publishers cannot see the names of groups they're in. Now for push step 2. With your groups and terms set, let's go back to your mini lists, which include the publisher's CIDs, to push out their offers. Now I'm going to show you how to push out their terms in bulk instead of one by one to save you some serious time. That said, this is going to get a little into the weeds, so hold on tight. In case you're following along or doing this later with the recording, I'm basing it on functionality using Windows 7 and Microsoft Excel 2007 or better. Okay, here we go. First, with each mini list in its own spreadsheet, delete all other columns of data in each list. So you just have a column of the CIDs in column A for each one. copy, and paste special into B1, choosing transpose. This will flip your CIDs sideways. Do this for each mini list. Now, delete column A, leaving only the sideways list. Save each as a CSV and close them. Open each list in Notepad, and this will give you your comma-separated lists of CIDs. And what you're going to do is use these lists of CIDs to push out the appropriate program term to each respective mini list. And to do this, you're going to go to the Publisher search page, and with the Publishers to Recruit radio button selected and CID chosen in the dropdown, paste in your CIDs from Notepad and search one mini list at a time. When you get the results, select all and click Make Offer to both choose the term and the publisher group. Repeat for each of your mini list groups. Nice work. That's definitely the most technical of steps. So take your time. Make sure you don't mix up your lists and terms and groups. Now we're at the final step, engage. When pushing out those terms, each publisher will receive email notifications from CJ of the new program term offer and summarize what's included in it. So don't worry about emailing them right away to let them know that they have an offer and what it's all about. We've got it covered. This step is instead about building an engagement plan to follow up after they accept. A personalized touch is key here, as this is the beginning of a number of brand new relationships. Getting started on the right foot is essential. Using your groups, you can use our email campaigns builder to send targeted outreach to each of them. These emails should illuminate how thoughtful your recruitment was. Speak to each group in a way that specifically highlights the benefits of their own program term offer, as well as any aspects of the program that cater to their model or focus. Here's how you do it. Head to Mail email campaigns and click Create New Campaign. Name your campaign and email tied to it, and you can group together your recruitment campaigns if you like, and go to step 2. At the top, click the radio button in the My Groups row, and then select the group or groups you want to send it to. You can select multiple by holding Control on your keyboard as you click them. In this case, you should be sending a unique outreach to each group, but you might be grouping 1 or 2 together. Follow the rest of the steps of the wizard to produce your email, and always send yourself a test first to make sure it looks good. Note that in step 3, you'll be able to enter in actual HTML for advanced customized formatting. So if you've got internal email templates you can build from, drop in the code right there. Always make a text version too, just in case they can't load HTML formatting. As you craft the language, think about what would be compelling to you if you were the publisher receiving it. What would you want to know? What kind of offer would you find the most exciting? Email campaigns are your first step for building a strong relationship with each new recruit. As a best practice, if you haven't heard back or seen any activity within a few weeks, follow up to get on their radar. Remember, they accepted your program term offer in the first place, so they clearly saw potential in the partnership right away. That's it. Identify, push, engage. As a key takeaway here, I cannot stress this enough. Please take your time and never cut corners through this process. Building and executing a recruitment strategy like this is going to give you back what you give in. The more thought you put into identifying great prospects, creating great offers, and personalizing your follow-up once they're joined, the more value you'll see both now and in the long term. With the fundamentals, key points, and a solid approach all set, let's add on all the ways you can create advanced recruitment strategies in CJ to drive all sorts of new value for your overall marketing strategy. Recruitment brings you the potential for growth, diversification, and competitive advantage. And the below strategies cover 4 ways you can go even further with these benefits: content certified, non-joined email campaigns, out-of-network recruitment, and global expansion. To connect with the highest quality content publishers in CJ, check out our Content Certified program, which you can learn everything about in our CJ Support Center. At a high level, by offering a uniquely higher commissions tier to CJ vetted content publishers and submitting a ticket for approval, your program will both get offers out automatically to all the best prospects, as well as get a badge connected to your program on the publisher side of the interface. Here's what that badge looks like at the top right of my slide. When you're certified, you'll choose one of these 5 categories to join, and if you're not sure of which, we can help you choose. This is a fantastic way to get more involved with content and has become the standard that top content publishers look for. So if bloggers, influencers, and commerce content are of any interest to you at all, make sure you get set up. In our email campaigns builder, you'll notice you have 2 options to start with: joined or non-joined publishers. If you'd like to explore connecting with recruitment prospects in CJ using totally customized messaging through this tool, here's what you should keep in mind. First, because sending totally custom emails to non-joined publishers is a premium service, it does include a low standard cost of 15 cents per recipient. This is unlike joined messaging, which is free, so keep that in mind. When you choose this option, you can target publishers who perform in certain categories, are based in certain countries, and operate in certain languages. This functionality can help if your campaign is quite broad and you're looking to send a unique and valuable message their way. Definitely check it out. As we mentioned before, to recruit affiliates not yet joined to the CJ network, use your CJ-hosted branded sign-up page, which gives you a page to place on your own site to attract those new affiliates to both you and CJ. We recommend linking this page to your site's navigation menu and homepage for ample promotion, and you can additionally place it anywhere else that you feel would effectively grab the attention of interested publishers. To edit this page and provide a customized message for your program and brand, just head to the Account Network Profile page and scroll down to Branded Sign-up Settings. Cover all the benefits to joining, and think of this as your external-facing default program term and program description listing. Lastly, I have to mention that the CJ network extends far beyond US soil. If your brand's reaching customers in Canada or Europe or anywhere at all in the world, you can use our recruitment tool to build lists of publishers who are engaging with those customers. To search effectively, use the geographic source filters and not country. Country is based on where the publisher is physically located, whereas geographic source is where their customers are coming from. So that's really what you're after here. Remember, if you're working with international publishers, offer them links and creative in their local language or languages. When communicating with these publishers, ask if that's something they feel is necessary or beneficial, and what would work best for them. These are just some of the ways that a strong approach to recruitment campaigns in CJ can add so much value to both your affiliate program and your brand's overall strategy. So, even though we just talked about an overwhelming amount of benefits and opportunities associated with recruitment, I often find that questions or objections come up regarding the value of the effort these campaigns require to do them right. Here's a few common questions, some of which you might already be thinking about right now. I'd like to address them right away. 1, I'm already growing with the publishers I have, and I have tons that drive no volume at all. Why would I want to add more publishers when they might not even perform? This is a very legitimate concern. Keeping every publisher in your program activated is definitely important. First, remember, you can always expire publishers who aren't performing, and if they'd like to get back into your program, they can reapply at any time. On that same note, if you'd like to learn more about running what we call activation campaigns, we've included a link on this slide to our last webinar, which are focused on how to run them. At the end today, we'll send the deck through as an attachment, so you can both have this whole presentation for sharing and reference and get the link to that recording as well. Getting back to the question, relying on your existing publishers might work fine for now, but our industries are constantly changing and evolving. Your top publishers now might be half their size in a year, or there might be new players double their size and potential in the same time. Your own competitive landscape may change and warrant a new approach to pushing your brand out to new customers. Conducting a strong recruitment campaign at least once every year is a reliable and consistent way to ensure you're mitigating concentration risk of relying on a few big publishers and keeps you current with our shifting ecosystem of publishers and opportunities. 2, I don't like to extend a program term offer without first speaking with a potential new recruit. My policies are very specific. How can I manage this? Well, from the sound of it, you've got tough regulations or rules dictating your promotional and publisher behavior, and CJ's no stranger to that. To approach recruitment this way, follow the same identify steps we walked through and build your program terms too. But before pushing them out, grab each publisher's contact info from their detail pages and reach out directly to set up a conversation, by phone if you can. Given your needs, it's very likely your recruitment list is pretty small and very targeted, so this shouldn't be too big of an effort to communicate with them beforehand, and it sounds important. Once you chat and are sure it's a good fit, move forward through the rest of the push step, and you might be able to lighten up on the engage step since you've already talked to them. Third, and finally, and definitely most common, my recruits won't accept my offer. It's been waiting there for weeks. What can I do? This can certainly happen. Putting yourself in the publisher's shoes, they may be receiving hundreds of program term offers every week. So finding and effectively evaluating yours may have simply fallen off their radar. One thing you can always do is retract your offer and push a new one to get a new notification their way and jog their memory. If you're doing this, consider sweetening the deal a bit and offer them slightly better terms than before if you can. Your first offer might not have been compelling enough. So explore how commission rates, performance incentives, and policies can be adjusted to make the terms more attractive. It's a good idea here to try to reach out directly to learn more about what they need to succeed with what they're looking for, so you're not guessing at what they're looking for. We've spent today covering recruitment from end to end, and I hope you found it beneficial. To summarize things a bit, recruitment means to add new publishers to your affiliate program. Each new relationship offers so much more than just potential customers. It offers you growth, diversification, and competitive advantage. Successful recruitment campaigns should follow this simple formula: identify, push, engage. An advanced CJ approaches to recruiting new publishers includes content certification, non-joined email campaigns, out-of-network recruitment, and global expansion. We want your program to be profitable, always growing, and on the cutting edge of the channel's partners and opportunities. So get started on your next campaign today. For more support on keeping today's points in mind, always check out the Support Center. Use the recording and PDF copy of today's presentation. Ryan will send that through shortly. And you can even get more great advice and information by simply searching for Recruitment on Junction, our content portal and blog. I've included the link here too, so you have it when you need it. Thank you again for joining me. I'm ready for your questions.
All right, Brian, thanks so much for walking us through that. I'll let you catch a sip of water there, and then we'll get into some of these questions. If you haven't had a chance and you have a question, you should see in the dialog box or the GoToWebinar widget, there is a questions section, and you can actually write one of those in there, and we'll get it over to Brian. So, you ready to start?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna start you off with a softball here to catch your breath a little bit. I get lots of publisher applications, so I don't really need to do this. Why should I push offers out?
I have definitely heard that one before. So yes, you receive a lot of applications. You've got publishers wanting to join your program all the time. Why go through the effort of actually, pushing out to them, trying to find new publishers? Well, I have to reiterate, we have 70,000 active publishers in the network. So unless you're receiving applications from 70,000 publishers, and frankly, if you are, sure, you don't have to recruit. But if you are not receiving 70,000 applications, there are still publishers out there. There are still publishers out there that are so busy doing their thing that you got to reach out. You got to talk to them. They need to know you're interested, because every relationship here has so much potential for both the publisher and advertiser that trying to understand every single one of them is impossible. And your program changes over time too. So just because someone's applied in the past and maybe you approved them, maybe you didn't, now your program's different a year later, you got to remind them of the new benefits, remind them of the new offers you have available, products and commission rates. Pushing out to publishers is your own way of marketing your program to really your customers, because an affiliate program inherently doesn't market to customers directly. That's the biggest value of affiliate. You get to connect with all these brilliant content creators online who get to do it for you, who are connected and totally tied in with their readers and members. So absolutely still run these campaigns. Your applications are not going to catch everything, and to get the highest value and the best publishers for you, conducting these campaigns will ensure that.
Excellent. Thanks, Brian. So let's move on to something a little bit more tactical or execution specific here. What's the best way to target and recruit publishers based on country category classification?
Sure. Cool, thank you. So that's definitely going to be our recruitment tool. So we walked through some of the features there. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, but definitely encourage you to dig in. And in fact, I would say what you really should do first and foremost is go to Junction, search recruitment. It's going to pull up a couple of articles, some that are really, really good at walking you through the benefits of that tool. Guys, there's so many things that the recruitment tool can do, but specifying what category they focus on, specifying the countries they're from, specifying their currency, the size and the network, whether or not they are content certified. There's so many things that you can focus on in that recruitment tool. So if you have any specifics to the kinds of publishers you're looking to recruit, that is exactly the place that you should go.
Thanks, Brian. And let's kind of stay in the same vein of question here. How do we ID top performers to recruit?
That is a good follow-up. So yeah, what I didn't even mention yet, again, there's so much that tab can do. In addition to sort of demographic type filters, which are where they're from and what they focus on and things like that, you also have metrics-driven filters as well. So you'll notice in the recruitment tool on each row, you're going to see a network earnings rank. You're going to see CJ performers badges or not, and you're going to see EPC averages. So real quick to break those down, network earnings rank is what we use to just benchmark kind of where any given publisher sits in the whole network in terms of the commissions that they are earning. So it's a 0 through 5 system, 5 being the biggest, 0 meaning they aren't driving anything, and 1 through 5 kind of goes up in about 20% tier increments. And also, if you see a publisher listed as new, that just means they've joined CJ in the last 90 days. So, we give them a 90-day grace period to ramp up. But that is one way to know. The CJ Performers badge is really helpful. That lets you know that this is a publisher that generates at least $10,000 in commissions in the last 3 months, is engaged with us as a publisher, and has no network quality violations. So some of you that have been involved with the CJ network, or even when we were Commission Junction, you might remember when we started the CJ Performers program. This is our way of badging top publishers that do just such a great job compliantly and use their distribution effectively to drive commissions. So keep an eye out for the CJP badge. And then finally, EPC averages are an interesting metric that we like to use. It's an average of earnings in commissions divided by 100 clicks over a certain time period. So we have a 7-day EPC and a 3-month EPC. The 7-day EPC is our short term. That's looking back a week. I think we go back 30 days and we look forward a week to get that average. And then the 3-month EPC is the long-term average. So we go back 5 months and count forward 3 months. It's just our way of showing, based on all the clicks that the publishers are sending advertisers, what are they earning? And that tells you right away that their traffic is profitable, that it's performing. So all 3 of those together are a great combination to understand, is this publisher smaller, larger, mid-size, kind of what they're up to.
Excellent, thank you. So let's move on here to, again, a bit more technical question, but I think that's useful for our participants here on the webinar. If a publisher declines a program offer, will they still come up in recruitment searches, the publisher that is? Can we see if they have previously declined an offer?
That is a great question. So if you have pushed out an offer to a publisher and they declined it, they were not interested in the offer, they actually will not appear in the recruitment tool. The recruitment tool focuses on publishers that have, as we call it in CJ, no relationship history with you. There's nothing. There's no status, no declined application, no pending application, they have absolutely no connection with you now or ever in the past. Those are the publishers that are showing up in the recruitment tool, which is still great. That's a lot of publishers that that are out there. But any publisher that has engaged with you in the past, including declining an offer and including you declining their application, will not appear in the recruitment tool. To find those, and you can find them anytime, just go to the publishers area and look at the manage by program term page. That's going to break down all your program terms as well as all of your statuses for each of those program terms. So you could quickly see where are all my publishers that have declined my offers, and then click through and get a list of those publishers so you can reach out directly. And like I said, this kind of goes back to in the FAQs, my third question, which was, hey, they're not accepting my offer. How do I let them know? And I had suggested maybe you want to sweeten the deal. And also it's great to reach out directly to learn what they're looking for and why your first offer didn't do it. Same situation here. If they decline your offer, do the same thing. Reach out directly, say, hey, I'm really interested in working with you, but I noticed you declined my offer. Is there anything I can do that would better, assess your needs? What are you looking for in programs to join? So same kind of steps to follow up there. And again, you're going to find all those lists of publishers on the Publishers Managed by Program Terms page.
Thanks, Brian. I know that's helpful. Getting a lot of requests to talk about activation. So let's just spend a couple of minutes on it. I know we had a great webinar. When was that? Was it March? I think it was.
That was March.
Great. And you folks will see that there's a link in the PDF that I'll distribute here shortly that will take you to that webinar recording. But let's speak to it for just a few minutes, if that's all right, Brian. And I'll just kind of summarize the questions I'm seeing, and that's basically at a high level, without redoing the webinar again. Well, what's the best strategy for activating new publishers?
Yes, definitely. I'll try not to redo the entire thing, but because I say that because I really like activation campaigns. I think there's basically, if there's anything that's lacking in the affiliate world these days, honestly, from all the programs I've been a part of and strategies I've seen, it is a lack of continued engagement with publishers. Talking to them, seeing what you can do to reignite the relationship, get them interested, get them driving activated traffic that actually drives you volume. It's the hottest topic, so I never mind talking about it. The steps to follow are frankly very similar to running a recruitment campaign. What you want to do is first spend some time on identifying. You're going to do that by taking a look at these publishers in your program, because inactive can mean a lot of things. It can mean they're driving you clicks but no sales. It could mean they're driving you nothing at all, no clicks, no sales, no activity whatsoever. Or it could even just be that they're driving you a very low amount of volume and you know they could do more. And so first take some time to look at those groups. Next, very similar to this process, consider what you can offer them. Look at those groups, think about them in terms of their business models and their content focus. Are there benefits that are in your program that they're not even aware of yet? Maybe they're a really product-driven publisher and they aren't using your product feed. There's no performance with your product feed. Remind them of your product feed. There's so many advertiser programs out there and so much to keep track of. Reminding them as often as possible is so helpful. It's never going to hurt you. And then the third step, very similar to this whole process, is to engage them in a personalized way. Because again, if they're just getting a mass email that says, hey, you're not performing for me, perform, please, I really want you to, it means nothing. That doesn't, you're not saying in any way, shape, or form that you know who they are and that you're considering what's going to be valuable to their side of the relationship. So again, as Ryan said, I highly encourage you to use that link and watch the activation webinar. We go through a whole walkthrough of how to do all of that stuff. You could follow it step by step. It's really beneficial. And again, similar to recruitment campaigns, I would encourage you to do this at least once a year. Activation, I'd suggest you do even more, maybe twice a year. It's a little less labor intensive than a recruitment program, so you can theoretically do it more often. And yeah, I definitely encourage you to check out that webinar. It should be very helpful.
Excellent. On that note, I'll actually go ahead and upload this presentation, the PDF for this presentation, into the GoToWebinar widget. So I'm going to drag this over here, and you should see there should be a handout section in your widget. Once this is uploaded, it might just take a moment or two. or uploading. You'll be able to grab that and just, I believe, drag and drop it to your desktop or into a folder that you'd like. So while that's happening, I'll give you another question here, Brian. So let's see here. If I send a lot of offers out, but I'm not getting many activations, or I guess acceptance, how often is it reasonable to remind the publishers about our program?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you want to be reasonable for sure. You don't want to totally barrage them with emails. It does, of course, in some ways depend on the urgency of how much you want to get this publisher into the program and get them working for you. But as I'm sure you find out, and as I definitely know, the affiliate channel is a long-term focused channel. You know, this is not a pipeline. You don't, as soon as the publisher joins your program, they don't start performing. They have to actually get your links. They have to build content for you, and they're building a long-term relationship. Kind of goes right back to the whole point of having an engage step as part of recruitment campaigns, because once they accept your offer, that isn't the end of the story. You do need to follow up. You do need to teach them and show them how to best engage with you and grow the relationship. And so how often to follow up? I mean, a best practice is, monthly isn't bad. That's certainly not going to get on anybody's nerves. But if you want to follow up a little bit more, especially if you're very interested and you have specific things you want to offer that publisher, feel free to do so more often than that.
Thanks, Brian. Let's see here. Okay. How can I get access to category-specific publishers, such as furniture, home decor, hunting, for example? Sometimes when using a recruitment tool, I get publishers who don't fall into these categories, even though that's the keyword I'm searching for.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. And the keywords, again, these actually operate very similar to your keywords. So if you think of your own network profile, and that's actually a good example, because if you don't have a publisher account, on the publisher side of the interface, they too have an account section and a network profile page, very, very similar to yours. They're doing the same thing. So they're listing out keywords that they believe are relevant to whatever the content they write, the category they're in, the things that they would want to be found for. So if you're typing hunting and they appear, there is some reason that publisher wants someone searching for hunting publishers to find them. So I would investigate. You never know. You may look a little bit closer. They might actually have a subsection of their website or something about their audience that they feel that is relevant. So definitely dig in just to make sure they're not relevant. But one thing you can do to try to make your results a little bit more relevant is combine keyword searching with the category filters as well, because it all works in conjunction with itself. So if you go into the categories and check off home and garden and search the keyword hunting, you're actually going to get hunting keyworded publishers who perform with home and garden advertisers. So you're doing a nice combination there. I would definitely use all the tools in that page together to try to get more precise with your searching.
Thank you, Brian. So, wow, now we've got new publishers who are in our program. How can I monitor their performance? Let's see how they're doing.
That is a great idea, great question. The best thing about doing the whole process that I just gave you before with the publisher groups and the terms and all of that stuff, the reason that we put those publishers in groups in addition to sending them email campaigns is now you've actually segmented all your reporting to those groups too. So if you go to the reports area and specifically to the performance page of the reports area, you can run performance by group and see how all of those original groups are now performing, which is super because you can see out of those publishers who started driving clicks, who started driving sales. And that helps you a lot with follow-ups too. Obviously, it can change what you say. If one of your recruits in, let's say it's content publishers, and one of them started performing right away, what you say to them when you send them a note is going to be different than a content publisher who hasn't even started promoting yet, and it should be. So I would use your reporting suite. It's all already segmented by the groups that you set up earlier, and using those groups, I would definitely benchmark the performance going forward.
Excellent, thanks. Okay, kind of paraphrasing a couple of questions here, dealing with custom messaging. So when I make an offer, should I include a custom message?
If you're sending out, so yes, there's sort of two parts to that question. So if you're sending out an individual offer in the recruitment tool, so you'll notice this what you'd do is you'd have your publishers there, you'd check the box for their listing, and then you click make offer. When you do that, you'll be picking a program term, and there is a text box that says, custom message. So in that instance, absolutely send a custom message. That's a great idea, and that way you can speak to them if there's anything specifically that you want to say. So custom messages in conjunction with pushing a program term is basically only tied to individual program term offers. If you're doing the bulk approach like we walked through today, you aren't able to send a custom message to the whole bulk list. But what you can do, which is why we talked about putting together the email campaigns once they accept. What instead I would just consider is making sure that the things that any publisher can see are well updated. So your program description, your branded sign-up page, all those things, even your links that are available too. That is something, I didn't even cover that in this presentation yet, but your available links are visible to the publisher as long as they're visible to all groups, or even if you want to make group-specific links. They just can't get the code. So they can see your sales, they can see your offers, your creative, they can't use it, but that's actually another way to sort of market to the publisher passively, like, hey, look what I have available. And again, there's no need to feel pressure to contact the publisher and let them know that you pushed them an offer, because we're going to do that from an interface side anyway. So they're going to get that automated message. It's going to summarize everything in the program term, which covers a lot of good detail, like policies and commission rates and actions. And then, keeping your description and everything else up to date in conjunction with that is the best way to have a customized or attentive approach to bulk recruiting.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you. So this, I think, is not necessarily specific to publisher recruitment, but I think it is probably relevant for the audience that we still have here. So I'll go ahead and ask you if that's all right. All right. Again, I'm getting the thumbs up there. I have an affiliate asking for a higher commission than the current program term has. When and why should I offer better commissions? And this publisher's new to the program.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's publishers will always ask for more commissions. So that's going to be a common thing. Just start a conversation with them. Obviously, I highly encourage you to not just simply give them the higher commission because they're asking for it. I would start with a key and wonderful question, which is why? Why should you pay more? What is that? What is the purpose behind you offering more commission? What are they going to do? What are they going to work on for you? What are their plans for this relationship? And build it off of that. So I would just start the conversation. They could have a very good reason, and I definitely, if they have a good reason, absolutely give them the extra tools. Again, this is about giving publishers the tools they need to succeed, and it costs money for a publisher to be successful with you. They need to pay for search campaigns, they need to pay for social ads, email campaigns, all sorts of, they need to hire new people to write content. I mean, there's so many reasons that publishers would spend money. So keep that in mind. They don't just want more money because they like money. They need the extra investment from you. But ask why. Get some concrete reasons, even get something down in writing in an email that says, yes, I will do X, Y, and Z because I am getting this higher rate. Create an IO, whatever makes you comfortable, but absolutely legitimize the purpose behind the increase before you go ahead and increase your spend.
Thanks, Brian. We're going to do 2 more questions, okay?
Ready?
Right? Okay, good. Is there a limit to how many publisher groups we can create for recruitment or in general?
There is not. You can create as many as you are comfortable with, and you will find that over time, you will have a lot. I definitely recommend looking through them every once in a while and retiring ones that aren't necessary anymore. But groups are great. Groups are great for segmenting your messaging, for segmenting your types of publishers, getting into activation campaigns. Often groups are really helpful to segment different performance tiers for activation. So if you wanted to group those totally inactive publishers separately from your low performing publishers who are performing but just not enough, that's a great way to use groups. And even furthermore, if you ever want to provide links or terms or communication to one single publisher, groups is how you do that. So you'll build a group for that one publisher, add that one publisher to the group, and now you can create a totally custom experience of your affiliate program for that one publisher. So you can create as many groups as you want, and I highly encourage you to use them because the segmentation is it's the spice of marketing. Definitely go for it.
The spice of marketing. Very nice. So we'll close out on this again, kind of an aggregate of a few questions that I've gotten here, and I think a good one to kind of end on here because it's still a bit broad. What if a publisher offers more than one promotional method? So content, loyalty, for example. Can I only work with one, or would I need to approve both?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like I said, nowadays I would be impressed if you found too many publishers who do only one thing at this point. I mean, even thinking about it, if you put yourself in your shoes and you are running a website, you would want to drive traffic to that website in every way you possibly could. You'd want to run search ads, you'd have email campaigns, you'd have social channels, you'd do it all. You have a mobile app if you can. So, this goes down to communicating with the publisher. And you can actually do that in two ways. I know we've talked a lot about email campaigns and sending messages through the interface and using contact information. I'm fully aware that publishers don't always disclose their contact information. I want to make sure I know that. That's a choice that we give to publishers to respect their privacy. If they don't want to disclose their email address and name, they absolutely do not have to, although we, of course, encourage them to do so. But you can still connect with them by way of your program terms, especially when it comes to promotional methods. So what you'll notice as you're building program terms is there's a lot of options in there in terms of defining the policies that you spell out. So if, for instance, you see that a publisher you really want to work with has email as one of their methods, and I know I've worked with a lot of brands who can't do that. They cannot use affiliate for email marketing. Email must be coming from them directly because of regulations, and you don't want the consumer to not know who's sending the email if it looks like it's from the brand, but it's actually not. So that can be a sensitive area. You see email as part of their promotional methods. You can check off email as a restricted method in your program terms. So right up front, without having to send a message, without having to contact them or get them on the phone, you've told them, I can't do email. I want to work with you, but you need to not do email. You could do whatever else you want, but email is not allowed. And more often than not, publishers are absolutely going to be able to do that and accommodate that request. If they don't, if they are non-compliant, if they go ahead and put you an email and they're not supposed to, that is non-compliance. That's why we have a network quality department who can reach out and say, hey, your promotional methods are violating the program terms you've agreed to. And as I said right in the beginning, a program term is a digital contract. It's an agreement between you both. It spells out the responsibilities that they need to live up to as well as the exchange of benefits. So use your program terms. Make them as descriptive as you can and as honest as you can, because that is your most important line of defense, both for defending against non-compliance as well as encouraging all the benefits that your program has to offer.
All right. That's great, Brian. So 2 minutes before the hour. Any final advice before I send everybody off?
Just that you never know, Ryan. You never know about any one publisher. No, I mean that. It's often you look at a new publisher that has done nothing with you so far, and you think, how could this one relationship dramatically change my program? But that is exactly how affiliate marketing works at its best. It's a whole other company. It's a whole other staff that you are connecting with, a new marketing department, a new PR team, a new social media channel. Every single new publisher adds on to your entire sales force of connecting with consumers. And given the key business principle that not every brand has every customer possible, you need to connect with as many as you can and do it intelligently, because you just never know the potential of any one relationship. And I encourage you, as you build campaigns out there, keep that in mind, take it seriously, think about what's like to be in the publisher's shoes. It's going to benefit you in the long run.
So there you have it. You can certainly tell Brian is pretty passionate about this, as all of us are here at CJ. I want to thank you again for joining us. Again, if you would please take the survey and let us know how we did, as it good, bad, and otherwise at the end of the webinar here when you close the widget, it should launch. We would really appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed this and you learned something new, and that you'll go out and recruit. Thanks again. Have a great Labor Day weekend, and we will see you all again in Q4, I guess it is. So stay tuned for the next webinar. Thanks for attending.